So we're going to do just a brief discussion about our G6, our auto transcription service. Um, to kind of kick the discussion off, we reviewed all the material that was put into that G6 assignment page, including the video links, and we watched them, and then we had some discussion regarding how drones are being used in the countries that we were all individually handling for our individual assignments throughout the course. Um, and we used the Zoom cloud recording to generate our automatic transcript. And then we met back up and discussed how accurate we found the transcription service and maybe some applications that could be used in this sort of a project. So I don't know about you guys, but one of the things that I was most impressed with was like the accuracy and time stamping that you got with these transcription services.
Mhm.
Uh, and I was almost thinking, especially for as we've moved into a world where Teams and Zooms meetings are more commonplace, that it kind of could replace the idea of someone taking notes in minutes. Uh, and I mean, we exported ours into a PDF document in 10 minutes after it was recording, and it's suddenly this searchable record where if we wanted to know exactly what Madison said that meeting, you could just
Mhm.
go into that PDF, type in Madison, and you've got links to everything she said. Um, so I don't know. Did you guys have any other kind of application ideas that came up when
Yeah,
you were
no,
thinking
I
about it?
completely agree with you there. I think that it did a good job of being accurate, and I think that would be helpful with, like you said, taking notes, removing human error from that, especially for maybe more complex meetings with a lot of people having a lot of input. I think it does a pretty good job of keeping track and, like you said, being able to go back and have a record of what was said and when it was said. I think that's super helpful.
I do think it might have minced some words a little bit, and it may have mixed up who was talking when at a couple points, but overall it was pretty accurate. Um, I I think mine had some of the minced words, and either it's a rapid speech or it's inconclusive what I'm saying, maybe an or something in there that kind of threw it off, or my accent might throw it off when I get to talking really fast. So
Yeah.
I think that it's great, and you're right, the application of using it for minutes having someone to take all that down is great. It's just there may be still some moments where it lapses, but not many.
Yeah. It also
That's true, and it
laps
can
oh,
really only
sorry.
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 Um, I said that that's very true, and I feel like it could only get better from here. And the progress that they've made so far is really impressive, giving that kind of just like what happened is a really good example where it could only get better at. I'm sure it's confusing when people start to try to talk over each other, which over something like Zoom is, of course, bound to happen because you're not in the same space and um, everything like that. So I feel like it'll only improve in the future. But as of right now, it's still really impressive what it can do.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say there's like when we're on a Zoom call, there's like someone talks and about a second later we receive what they said. So it's kind of like we end up like lapsing over each other. And I think the transcript did a fairly good job at like dividing about like who said this, and then if someone might have interrupted or something, like it would list who interrupted or who talked over or whatever. So it was pretty good at like listing the names and who said what and stuff. It's kind of impressive actually.
So, and I think that some of the latency issues that are experienced when using any sort of teleconferencing tool are maybe magnified by having larger
Mhm.
groups. I would imagine that a transcription service like this might perform even better in a one-on-one, like an interview situation.
Mhm.
I know Madison, you probably had to interview for your grad program, and it was probably a one-on-one. I'm sure other people have had to do interviews for jobs and might have had to use a Zoom or a Teams meeting. I could imagine that even in those sort of interviews, like what if you had a really competitive study abroad program, you might be doing, it might be an interesting way to create records of those interviews. That way, when the admissions committee or the job committee meets, they could be provided with a transcript instead of just notes taken from an interviewer with potential bias or any of those factors playing into it. You've just got some hard facts from the record about maybe not exactly what they said, maybe some words mixed up, but you know, there's some interesting applications to maybe remove some of the human bias. But so awesome. Well, I think that kind of caps up our application of the auto transcription service to our study abroad and our global information systems. So thank you.